The Art and World of Keith Haring. Keith Haring was a man who became famous by creating art that looked like children drew it. His colorful, simple pictures made people in New York City smile. Often his art would have a message about something important to him. Let's learn about the unusual story that led him to his fame. Keith was born in 1958 and grew up in a town in Pennsylvania. Keith didn't always follow the rules and often got himself into trouble. He wasn't the best student in school, and he acted out often. Aside from that, Keith found that he really loved to draw. Keith grew up drawing all sorts of cartoons. He would draw them on his homework, his tests, everywhere. One time, Keith was riding around on his bike when he saw something that intrigued him. In front of a house was wet cement. Keith knew that if he drew something in the cement, it would stay there forever when it dried. It wasn't the right thing to do, though. The sidewalk wasn't his, after all. Should we draw in the cement? Don't do it. So if we draw, I know I shouldn't, but just can't help myself. Keith left the drawing in front of the woman's sidewalk. This is called vandalism and is a crime that could have sent him to jail. However, Keith lucked out, because the woman who owned the house and the sidewalk turned out to be the local high school art teacher. She encouraged the then 13-year-old Keith Haring to enter a national art contest after warning him not to vandalize anything in the future. He entered the contest, and he won. From then on, Keith only became more and more determined to create artwork. He moved to New York City and drew non-stop. Keith would continue to draw in places that he shouldn't. He would often draw cartoons on black paper meant to cover ad space in the subway. At first, this was illegal, and he got in trouble a few times. As he became more famous, however, the police allowed him to create his artwork. Haring produced hundreds of these pictures over a few years and became a regular in the New York City subway. Commuters would often stop and talk to him. He became pretty well known. He became so well known that rich people started to want to buy his artwork. In 1982, he had his first major art show in a prestigious gallery. Keith wanted to use his fame for good. He would often put messages in his art about causes that were important to him. One of these causes was education and reading. How does this poster created for the New York Public Library show this? How does this art show that Keith created about getting kids to read? Fill your head with fun. Start reading. Keith's big heart extended to animals too. What do these posters encourage people to do? How did he show his messages? What do you think the message to this artwork is? Choose one. Keith's popularity continued to grow. He had some really famous friends, including Andy Warhol and Michael Jackson. He even animated some cartoons for Sesame Street. Unfortunately, life wasn't always glamorous for Keith and his friends. Keith knew people who were sick from a disease called AIDS. Here, Keith used his art to show his crucial supporting AIDS research and awareness, how crucial supporting AIDS awareness and research was. Keith ended up raising a lot of money for AIDS research through selling his art. By then, his work was selling for many thousands of dollars each. Unfortunately, Keith Haring lost his own battle with AIDS in 1990 at age 31. Although he is no longer here, his legacy and messages live through his iconic artwork. Many of his murals and sculptures are still in New York City today and are enjoyed by millions of people each and every day. Keith always believed in the importance of kids making art and being creative. Let's do just that.